Greetings from the League of Women Voters of Lackawanna County. My name is Diana Dakey. I am currently our League's president. Thank you for viewing this voter education program. It's sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Lackawanna County and co-sponsors the Center for Ethics and Excellence in Public Service at the University of Scranton and the Political Science Department at the University of Scranton. We also thank Toyota of Scranton for financial support for today's Zoom forum. The League of Women Voters of Lackawanna County conducts candidate forums so that voters can make informed choices at the polls. Today we are speaking to candidates for the Democratic primary for Scranton Tax Collector. John Sasnick, Kathy Nealon Wechsler, and another candidate, Kevin Gallagher, is unable to be with us due to a prior obligation. This elected office is for a 4-year term. On Tuesday, May 18th, registered Democratic voters will vote for one candidate for this office. There are no Republicans on the ballot for the primary. So this race will be decided in the Democratic primary unless there's a Republican write-in candidate or later an independent or third-party candidate files for the office. We have a few questions to ask the candidates. The candidate to answer the first question was selected by a draw prior to the forum. And for subsequent questions, we will alternate candidate to candidate. We also did a draw for the closing statement. So let's get started with our first question. And candidates, you will have up to 2 minutes to answer. So our first question. Can you tell the viewers what are your qualifications for this office? What education, previously held offices, current employment and responsibilities, or community involvement do you feel is relevant to the office you are seeking? So please go ahead, John, first.
Thank you very much, Diana. Not only am I the only candidate that is an accountant, I'm the only candidate that has auditing experience, Scranton single tax office management experience, who has not only served on the board of tax collection organizations, but I have also been the president of the Pennsylvania Business Privilege Tax Collectors Association, and I have also spoken at multiple conferences. I have over 35 years auditing experience, and believe me, there's a huge difference in preparing taxes and auditing them. I've done both for quite a while. And I think Kathy will even agree with me with this, that when you prepare somebody's taxes, you're all on the same team. They're happy to bring you their information. With an audit, however, it is more of an adversarial situation. And I believe it or not, in some cases, they try to hide some information from you. So you have to know the tax laws, the court cases better than the taxpayers and their representatives. Once I audited a prominent Scranton physician, I made my assessment. A short while later, the CPA called and said he disagreed with some of the assessment. So we set up a meeting to discuss it. When I got to the meeting, the CPA was waiting for me, and he was joined by another accountant and the doctor's lawyer. They told me what they disagreed with. So one by one, I went down the list and pointed out either case law and or sections of the regulations that supported my assessment. Shortly thereafter, the CPA called me to make payment arrangements. That was my David and Goliath moment, and it helped build my reputation. In regards to audits, I know how long an audit should take, how many audits should be performed in a given period. If an auditor has a question on how to perform their job, I can instruct them. And this is extremely important because when I worked at the tax office, there was workers there that had the title auditor, but never had any formal education in auditing. And I would bet that's still the case today. And I think the city and school could be missing out on some tax dollars. Also, oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you, John. I'll turn that question over to Kathy to answer the question.
Good morning. I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for holding this forum for Scranton Tax Collector. With my professional and government relations experience, I'm uniquely qualified for this position. The Office of Tax Collector is a management and administrative role, and I have over 20 years of management experience. For 9 years, I managed an H&R Block tax office with over 25 professional and support staff. As a tax professional, I prepared individual and business tax returns and taught basic and advanced tax classes. I have another decade of government relations experience managing the offices of Congressman Paul Kanjorski and State Representative Ken Smith. In both of these positions, I advocated for constituents with government through government agencies, including the IRS, due to my tax expertise. For the last 8 years, I have worked at Lackawanna College as their manager of corporate foundation and government relations, working with elected officials, government entities, private foundations, and corporations. I raise funds to advance the mission and the strategic plan of the college through advocacy and grant writing. I'm a graduate of Marywood University with my bachelor's degree in business administration and management. I'm an Act 48 qualified tax collector, and I've also earned continuing education credits in best practices in tax collection and tax collection through ethics for the tax collector through the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development. I'm an active community leader, past president and current member of the Lackawanna County Federation of Democratic Women, past president and executive board member of the Society of Irish Women. I serve on the boards of Scranton Tomorrow, Dunmore Senior Center, Waldorf Park German American Federation, and I'm also an active member of the Rotary of Scranton, Progressive Women of NEPA, Women in Philanthropy, and the East Mountain Residents Association.
Thank you to both of you. For our second question, and for this question, Kathy Wechsler will be answering first. What do you feel are the most pressing problems and needs facing the Office of Scranton Tax Collector? And what unique or innovative ideas do you have to address the problems and needs of the office? Take it away, Kathy.
I think the technology in the office is the #1 concern. Currently, the technology is approximately 15 years old, and it needs to be updated. We all know how quickly technology is outdated. We need to look at the whole system and look at possibilities of redesigning the forms, maybe bringing scanner technology and utilizing image character recognition. These are just some options right now. We would have to look into it more deeply. By upgrading the technology, this would lead to heightened reporting and accountability in the tax office. It would be cost effective, and the benefit would be seen almost immediately. It would increase the tax office efficiency, allowing the staff to do their jobs easier and quicker. It would also assist the taxing bodies by providing them with more detailed reports and giving them information that they could manipulate so that they could use for forecasting, financial planning, and also developing budgets. The taxpayers would benefit also due to they would benefit because they would have increased access to online forms, information, and documents, upgraded paying options because our payment options are difficult, and it would mean less trips to the tax office for them. On top of the technology, I think we need to open the lines of communication between the Scranton Tax Office and the taxing bodies, the Scranton School District, the City of Scranton, and the Lackawanna County. I think those are two of the top things we need to do.
Thank you. I'll turn the question over to John. We were talking about the problems and needs facing the tax office. Take it away, John. Thank you.
Thank you again. Yeah, I believe, in a word, the most pressing problem would be professionalism. There are a few items that deserve to be mentioned. When I worked at the tax office, the computer system was an absolute mess. I would lobby for a grant from gambling money, so there would not be any direct cost to the taxpayers to fund it. I would lobby the county commissioners to move the tax office to a more convenient location. We used to be across from the Radisson Hotel. I think it was 135 Jefferson Avenue. It had a drive-through window. It was actually that building was remodeled, it was actually fit for specifically the tax office. Why ex-county commissioners moved this, I'll never know, but that would be my top choice. Also, the website needs to be updated. I was recently on it, and I noticed the forum still had the Steamtown Mall address, and they've moved years ago. It was my idea that the tax office should have a website, and when it was first up and running, I got a lot of positive feedback that it was cutting edge. It even had self-calculating forms on it. So, for example, if you wanted to file a business privilege tax return, all you would have to do is key in your gross sales, and it would automatically calculate the tax. And if you were filing late, it would even calculate the interest and penalty. I believe we were the first local tax office website in Pennsylvania to offer this. I also believe that auditors are doing the best they can, but they probably need additional guidance and mentoring, which as an accountant with auditing experience, I am more than qualified to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, John, and to both of you for that answer. Our next question. The taxpayers and all residents of Scranton expect ethical and transparent government. Can you speak about your concepts related to ethics and disclosure so that the tax office can earn and deserve the confidence of the residents of Scranton? So for this question, the first person to answer will be John Obsasnik. Go ahead, John, please.
Thank you. Yes, taxes need to be collected in an efficient and transparent manner. But I believe public trust is earned by your actions. Early in my career with the tax office, I was strictly auditing businesses. One day, a superior called me aside and introduced me to a business person that I had just sent an audit notice to, and went on to tell me to cancel the audit. Well, at first, I was shocked. I was set back, but I went on to tell them that I would in no way cancel it, and that I could not work like that, and that I was walking out, and I would quit if they didn't call me to change their mind. Well, at that time, my wife and I had 2 young children, just moved into a new home, and it was a very scary time. But thankfully, a few days later, I got the call. I went back on to have a 35-year career there. So if elected, this is the kind of person Scranton will get as a tax collector, someone who knows what is right and not afraid to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, John. We'll turn it over to Kathy. We're talking about ethics and transparency. Go ahead, please, Kathy.
Sorry. Sorry, I was muted. Thank you. I think ethics in the tax office is vital. I can honestly say my reputation precedes me as a very ethical person with a lot of integrity. So leading that tax office my reputation would go. I think the leadership will develop how the whole office is done. As John said, professionalism and customer service needs to be increased in that office. And also we need to look at the transparency of the office, the reporting and how that's done. Currently, checks are delivered approximately twice a month to the taxing bodies. And with that, they get a list of the amount for each of the taxes that are given out, such as real estate and the real estate, LST, mercantile tax. But what's not included in there is an accounting of which taxes are paid, who's paying their taxes, and how much is paid, if there's any changes or any updates. They need to get more detailed information. There needs to be more detailed reporting, because that is someplace where I think there could lead to, and I would never say that there is any discrepancies, but I think that that is an area that needs more transparency. They need to have detailed reporting and of adjustments that were made to the taxes and taxes that are collected. I would work with all of the employees, the staff, the professional and support staff to make sure they're aware of what is expected of them and how I would want the office to be run. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay, now we are going to move on to our closing statement. We did a draw for who would answer the closing statement first. And so we have 2 minutes to give each candidate to share anything else you would like Democratic voters to know as they head to the polls on May 18th. So please go ahead, Kathy Wetchler, to answer first.
Thank you again to the League of Women Voters for holding this forum. You always have informative programs for the community, and I really appreciate all that you do. As your next tax collector, I will work for the taxpayers of Scranton. I have a strong work ethic and my integrity is well known. I will work to improve the lines of communication between the single tax office and the 3 taxing bodies. Collaborating with the city of Scranton, Scranton School District, and Lackawanna County, I will work to streamline and improve the tax collection process while increasing the transparency of the office and improving professionalism and customer service. Accessibility to the tax office is vital, and I will work to relocate the single tax office to a more accessible location. To improve efficiency in the tax office, I will work to modernize outdated tax office technology and upgrade online services. I have a lifetime a lifetime career of customer and constituent service. I will bring that to this tax office and make sure that the citizens and the taxpayers of Scranton are treated correctly and treated in the manner they should be, with the respect they should be. And in summary, the position of the Scranton Tax Collector is a management role, and my decades of management experience make me uniquely qualified for this position. I'd like to ask the citizens of Scranton to vote for me as your tax collector on May 18th.
Thank you. And on to John Opsasnik for his closing statement. Go ahead, John.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank the League of Women Voters of Lackawanna County for sponsoring this most important forum. I believe it is one of the few ways that voters can really find out who's running. I have decided to run for tax collector because I believe that with the financial condition of the city and the school district, Scranton is at the crossroads, and Scrantonians literally cannot afford to not vote for the most qualified candidate anymore. I believe, among other things, my education. I earned an accounting degree from the University of Scranton, my 35 plus years auditing experience, my Scranton single tax office management experience, that I am not uniquely qualified, but I am by far the most qualified. When filing our petitions to run for office, we had a list of our occupation, which the Scranton Times listed an article. Kathy is listed as a manager of corporate foundations and government relations. My friend Calvin Gallagher, who couldn't find the hour it would take to participate in this most important forum, as tax/mail clerk. And I'm sure voters would be interested to hear him explain the signs posted around town saying that experience matters, and how his experience as a mail clerk translates to being a tax collector. I'm an accountant with auditing experience. I'm not a politician, but I am a career public servant. You won't see me being with or being introduced by politicians. If someone more qualified than me was running, I would have not joined the race. I'm asking Scranton voters to educate themselves on the candidates and to imagine that they are hiring someone for a job, which is really what they're doing, and to vote for or hire the person that is most qualified. I respectfully ask for your vote and help me help Scranton. Please pick John Opsasnik for tax collector. Thank you.
Diana, you were muted.
I want to thank both of our participating candidates today for their time to help educate voters regarding this important office, Kathy Wetchler and John Opsasnik. And we hope, as the League of Women Voters of Lackawanna County, that we have enhanced the information that you as voters will want to have as you go to the polls on May 18th and vote in the primary, the Democratic primary for tax collector for Scranton. Thank you again for watching.
Thank you.